Okay, firstly, I'd like to welcome Ms. WP to the podcast.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here and to discuss this very important topic that she and I are going to discuss today.
And so right now, she will be giving you a short little debrief on her background as a teacher and as a parent as well.
So this is my 17th year as an educator, and I've taught the gamut from middle school students to high school students, multiple subject matters, and I've been a teacher long enough to have witnessed sort of what education was like pre-social media, pre-technology, and then to, currently teach in the current environment. I'm also the parent of two children, a 22-year-old son and a 14, almost 15-year-old daughter.
Okay, so my first question will be, how do you believe technology is used in your classroom on a daily basis?
Well, on a daily basis, I wouldn't say that it's used consistently on a daily basis. In my classroom, certainly we do use technology, here and there for assignments, but it's not something as far as me assigning things that are technology driven. But that's not to say that students don't utilize technology, even if it's not directly tied to something that we're doing that day.
Okay, so you said that technology is not necessarily per se integrated into all of your lessons, but it's more of just an accessory in case you need it. It's not a very active component in your teaching style or in your class. Okay. So my second question will be, have you noticed any changes in students' attention spans or behavior when you started teaching, where there wasn't as much technology used to whereas now there's a plethora of different varieties of technology all throughout the school?
Yes, I'd say that there have been noticeable changes. When I first started teaching, Chromebooks, one-to-one, that wasn't really one-to-one like laptops and stuff. That wasn't really a widespread phenomenon. So most of the material and resources that students use were hard copies of, whether it's textbooks or, having to go to the library or, material provided by the teacher. And so with more technology being integrated into classes, what I've noticed about students' attention spans is that it is harder for them to focus, and pay attention. So their attention spans have gotten shorter. I think that's for a multitude of reasons that we'll probably, dive into more as the podcast episode continues. But there definitely has been a noticeable change.
Okay, so I completely understand what you mean. Like for me as a student, I'm able to quickly look up anything like at the drop of a hat and find out all the information I need to. It's just a quick Google search away, or ChatGPT, even though I don't use it. ChatGPT, search away.
Right.
But back when my parents were in school, or back even when you were teaching in your earlier years, you had to go back and look at a textbook or go to the local library to figure out all the things that you need to, all the information that you needed to find. So I completely understand. Okay, so my next question is, how do you believe that tech affects students' social skills and face-to-face interactions at school?
So I think students nowadays definitely, because they spend so much time on, looking at a screen, whether that's a laptop, whether that's their phones, that they are missing out, or there's less of it. Not to say that they don't get, face-to-face interaction with their peers in social situations, period. But they are missing out. There's less of that than, say, pre-technology. And so as a result of that, I think that it is harder for some students to learn and gain those social skills, so that they find face-to-face interactions more difficult than, prior generations that didn't have access to so much technology.
Yeah, because when I was in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, that was when the pandemic was happening, so we were doing the online school. And when I moved here, I came here in eighth grade. So when I first moved here, I was still young, so I didn't really know how to fully interact with people like that, because for one, I was moving to a new school, and then we were getting off of online school. So it was really hard for me to just hop into friend groups and friend relationships, especially because a lot of these people have groups that they've been growing up with since they were little. So it was really hard for me personally to like have a lot of face-to-face interactions with a lot of people, which like low-key developed into anxiety, a little bit of anxiety, but like we're over it now, we're cool. I just had to get used to like, you know, being able to just be a kid and like be around other people. So I feel like technology definitely has affected my like ability to have face-to-face interactions at that time. Like now, because I'm older and it was only for a short time that I'm able to like understand how to like interact with people, you know?
Well, it's interesting you bring up the like sort of the anxiety part, because I think there's probably multiple studies that show that the rates of anxiety amongst young people like has heightened, and a lot of that I think the study supports show that it's due to so much that technology, that then when it comes to those opportunities to face interact, there is this sort of anxiousness that a lot of young people feel.
Because there was a presentation that happened like a week or so ago at the big office building or whatever.
That's usually what I mean.
Yes, the central admin building, and it was about technology, and it showed like a graph or like statistics about how anxiety has risen over the years, like in young people, and so, which I'm kind of scared for like my little sister, because I have two younger sisters. I have one's 16 and one's 10, but I'm really worried about the 10-year-old because you know she's the baby, so like she's always on her tablet. And after that presentation, I was just like, oh, you should not be on the tablet all the time. I should not be on the phone all the time. And so like I would try what I started doing with her, and this is kind of like my experiment or whatever to see if it really worked. I told her, I was like, from now on, like an hour or so before you go to bed, we're gonna read a book, and I'm gonna read with you, so that'll help me wind down for bed, and then I'll tuck you in. And she was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Now, at first she was having a little trouble with it, but like it was like the first night or so she was having a little trouble with it. But she actually really enjoyed the book. We actually finished the book on Sunday. We have to go to the library and get a new book because hopefully we're gonna go to the Mesquite Library. But we need to go to the library and get her a new book. But she was really excited to finish the book. When we finished it, she was like screaming. She was like, "Yes! Oh my god!" Because it was a mystery. It was a whodunit, and she was like. She was just really happy, and I was like, see, this is why you should read a book.
Yes.
Because even when I was a kid, the library was like my favorite place in the world. I love going to the library. I love checking out books. So it's like I want to be able for her to have that.
Right.
Because we don't live in Allen anymore. So there isn't that big library for kids anymore. But Mesquite, they have a pretty nice sized library, so I'm going to bring her over there hopefully this weekend to help her go get a book.
Yes, and then it forges that connection too, so that interaction. And I'll be curious, like, as far as the mental health professional, whether there's a trend with sort of the screen time and the anxiety, if there's a correlation with like girls more than boys, if they experience, you know, these things differently. And that's something interesting to me.
And I feel like that how that anxiety comes to be is that people find it so much easier to interact with people through technology than face to face, because like it's so easy for me to sit there and comment under somebody's page, because there's nobody in my face. Like, I don't get to see their reaction. So if it were me and I was like just a really mean person, I could just say the craziest thing out of my mouth, and you know, I wouldn't have any consequences at all because I'm talking through a screen. But when you're talking to somebody face to face, it's harder to say all the things that you want to say. All the Now, my fourth question is: have you observed any differences in academic performance related to technology use? And this, especially due to like the last couple years where ChatGPT has like risen pretty high. All the Microsoft AI, the Grammarly AI, all the things. Have you noticed any like?
So I think like with the whole intention with bringing in one-to-one to schools, it's supposed to be the great equalizer amongst, you know, school districts that maybe, you know, were not as affluent as other districts, so didn't have the resources that, you know, having one-to-one for students would equalize it. So I think the intent was, you know, definitely in the right place, but I think that some of the effects that we're just now learning and realizing about so much technology is that there are multiple sort of effects. So academically, I would say that with the rise of, you know, AI and things like that, that it perhaps gives students a false sense of security about what they know. I think a lot of students, there's a disconnect in that they don't see the ways that they may be using some of the technology, like such as AI, that they don't even realize like the extent that they're relying on it, so that the work product, what they produce or what they think that they know about something is actually, what the AI is telling them,
rather than
what they actually know.
Yes.
And I think like over time, that we as a society, so schools but the broader public too, that if we as a society become sort of over reliant on AI, my fear is that we lose the ability to think or to learn for ourselves, and that we'll become so reliant on AI, whatever it tells us is the truth. So I think that we're seeing some of that in education, where again, students maybe have a false sense of what they actually know, because they're becoming so reliant on technology and things like AI. So it's a very sort of scary time in education.
Because like you said, even like in AI disclosures, like ChatGPT disclosure, they're like, you need to go look up this for yourself to back my claims. Right. Because ChatGPT is putting in is taking what the developers and what the creators have learned or what they know, or all the information they got from the web, put that in, and then their ChatGPT is just like spewing stuff out at people, to where it's like ChatGPT is making it to where people don't have to think in a world where you need to be constantly thinking. Right. So like in class, I find it very, very, very tempting to pick up ChatGPT and just go through all the things I need to go through just to get the work done. But then I'm like, I'm cheating myself, because I've gotten through all 12 years of school without having to use ChatGPT. I've maintained my grades. I'm on a track to graduate with honors. Like I'm doing pretty good so far. Like without ChatGPT, I've gotten into 7 colleges without ChatGPT's help. So it's like, I understand why kids would want to use ChatGPT, because it's like a short little dopamine hit. It's like it helps you for the second, and then when you go to take the test, you don't know anything, and then you fail. And that's what I noticed with a lot of parents. Like even my parents, like say I would use ChatGPT on an assignment when I was in like freshman or sophomore year. Say I use it on an assignment, but when I go to take the test, I don't know anything, so I'm just guessing, and so my test score is lower than my homework score, and they're like, how do you get so high on your homework if you don't know anything on the test? You had to be cheating. And it's like, I guess you're right. I guess you might be a little correct about that. But yeah, like I completely understand, because a lot of students will sit up here and pick up ChatGPT instead of actually just trying to read stuff. And it's not even that like the information that we're learning is hard. Right. It's pretty much right there. Like in all of our textbooks, all the assignments that you give, like the information is right there. You just have to read for it. And what I think that is kids don't want to read anymore. And that's why I was trying to instill it in my little sister, like I was saying, because I want her to be able to sit up there and say, oh, I like to read. Right. Because there are a lot of adults that don't like to read. Like even my parents. My mom, she likes to read, but she doesn't read a lot like that. My dad, he reads sometimes, but he's not a big reader. Right. He was more of a math kid. But me, I'm an avid reader. Yes. I have like a crap ton of books in my closet. I have a little makeshift library in my closet.
Exactly. Yes.
So, like, I definitely understand. Like, a lot of kids just don't want to read the information or have to study it. They want a quick
yes,
answer.
Like you said, a quick hit. Like, yes.
Like that.
Yes.
It doesn't happen like that. You don't learn like that.
Right.
You're not rewarded like that.
Right. Yep. Definitely sort of a disconnect with the expectation versus the reality.
And then you wonder why, like, when something doesn't go right, or you wonder why you don't get this award or this thing or this grade, why didn't I get this? And you have to go back and think to yourself, like, hey, you use ChatGPT to answer all these questions. You really don't know it.
Right.
ChatGPT does.
Yeah, exactly.
And then my 5th question is, how do you teach students responsible and ethical technology use?
It is a hard battle to try to teach that. Some of me, because of the age group, like predominantly the students I teach are seniors, but like I said, I do have, like I have had and do have like, some sophomores as students. So my thinking for the seniors that I have is, okay, they're seniors. They're, they're taking a college course, or they will, be taking college classes, the year that they have me. Like, don't they already know sort of ethical and, how to responsibly use like technology? So I don't spend as much time as I probably should on that, because of this assumption, again, they're seniors, they already know, or they will, learn that or whatever when they get ready to go off to college. But the teachers that I'm aware of that do teach like younger, so juniors or freshmen or whatever, that there's still a struggle with them being able to convey to students the things that do constitute responsible and ethical use, and maybe students not being of the maturity level to understand it or be willing to accept it or be receptive to it. So I think it's a sort of a struggle that a lot of teachers face. But like, again, being honest and full disclosure about myself, I don't focus on it probably as much as I should. Just, again, my rationale is thinking I have older students that are, like taking a college class or whatever. But that doesn't mean that, I should presume that yes, that they all have learned responsible use. So I could definitely do a better job about that.
Okay, so another question for you, Ms. Deputy, is how do you manage distractions from technology in the classroom?
To try to minimize those sort of distractions as much as possible is asking students to, keep the devices when they're not in use or they're not required for that day's lesson or activities, is to keep them away, whether that's in pockets or backpacks, or when the school had rules about putting them in the pockets, but just keeping them out of sight, out of reach. That's about the most, I guess, efficient way as a teacher that I can minimize it.
Do you feel like the new Texas law about the phones is a good and worthwhile law that should have been passed, or do you feel like it's just a waste of time, considering that some students will still continue to use the devices in class?
I think their goal was, I think their hearts were in the right place. And if I had the power, there are some adjustments that I would make to it. I think, one can sort of tell that the law was made by people who, aren't in education or haven't been maybe in the classroom
for a very long time.
So I do think their heart's in the right place. I do think it's a worthwhile endeavor because of the issues of focus and, just with the issues with technology that we have today. So I think it's something that's worthwhile to look into, but I'm not 100% on board with some of the methods that they employ.
Okay. Now I have another question, and it is, do you see any differences in how students use technology at home versus at school? Because as you said earlier, you do have a 15-year-old, yes, a 15-year-old. So how do you, just going off of her, how do you see differences in how she utilizes technology here, or not here, but at school, and then at home?
I would say for our household, probably almost, they're probably on par with each other, just because there are limits that we place on her that are maybe different than some of her peers. Like, she doesn't have social media. We haven't really decided what age, but like with her being 15, she doesn't have TikTok and stuff like that kind of way. That we limit that may be on par with schools where they have different things blocked for students that have access to. But I think if I'm thinking about her and maybe some of her peers, that probably in the average household, it is a little bit more lax, or students, students have more access at home likely than they do in most school settings, with the schools having the firewalls, those sort of things that are blocked. But like I said, as far as us though, I think we're probably pretty par because, again, like, she doesn't have social media. Just until recently, we would make her come in and turn, not turn her phone in, but like leave her phone in like our room so that she wasn't on it all night. So we've had those sort of rules in place, which again makes me say that it's probably on par with schools, but that's, I think, out of the norm. I think the average, teenager or student that has a phone probably has more access to, social media or just screen time at home than they would at school.
Yeah,
school setting.
Because when I was younger, I didn't have technology. Not technology. I didn't have social media up until I turned 16, and then my parents, who have never had social media ever, got social media to be able to monitor what I'm doing on there. And it was only Instagram that they got, because they don't they don't like any of it.
Right.
So they weren't willing to get it. But they're like, Instagram we're gonna get. And I was like, that's perfectly fine. But like me personally, as a student and as a student and a child technically, I use social media a lot just because of that's like what I've grown up with. But like the turning in of the phone, my mom would make me do that sometimes. It wouldn't be all the time, but it would be sometimes. And I wouldn't, like I said, I got my phone when I turned like 12, I think, if I'm correct. I know I got it in 6th grade, so I'm not really sure what age that is.
Yet.
But I got my phone in 6th grade, and I didn't have like social media up until I turned 16. So all I really had at that age was like YouTube and stuff like that. So that's really all I had. But no, I think that technology is definitely more lax at home, because like when I'm at home, I can be on Instagram, I can be on TikTok, I can be on, I don't use Snapchat, nobody uses Snapchat, but I can be on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. But when I'm at school, it's like I can't really do that because, you know, the teachers are monitoring the phones and stuff.
Right.
And I can only really be on my school computer. It kind of sucks, but it's whatever.
Right.
It's whatever.
Yes.
But no, I completely understand. Now, what are some ways that you think the school and or like you as just a teacher can combat the growing social media and or phone addiction?
I think teachers, in the position of teacher, I would say, you know, utilizing or having activities, limiting that as much as possible. So, like, not to say that teachers have to become like Luddites and like, you know, anti all technology, but just being very mindful and intentional about the type of assignments that they assign that incorporate that, that they're, you know, the expectations are clearly communicated to students.
Sorry, it got paused.
That's okay.
But it's fine. But I definitely think that, like, in order to semi-combat that growing addiction, I think, and even though this would pain me to say because I hate all these assignments, but definitely more reading type of assignments, more paper assignments would definitely help. Yeah. Like I said, that pains me to say because I hate paper assignments, but in all practicality of it, we have to genuinely think about what would genuinely help combat the growing addiction. And I do think that paper assignments would definitely help. So I feel like more paper assignments, more reading assignments would definitely help students' cognitive ability as well as to decrease the use of technology in school.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
So like, you know, Texas wasn't the first state to pass, you know, laws like, you know, in schools with the phones and stuff. So I've read some things like from, you know, from not from Texas, but like in articles about, you know, states and stuff banning phones, and some of the students talk about that they feel relieved at, you know, like that everybody has to follow the rule, that there's some relief that they get a break, like in school from, you know, the phones, the devices, the social media, the sort of the, you know, the, I guess, dopamine hit you get from, you know, messages and notifications, that they appreciate, sort of, even though it's sort of forced, you know, a pause with that. Yeah. Like, it's
definitely like a helper.
Yes.
No, I can admit that. I feel the same way. Now, initially when it first happens, because like sometimes even my parents will do like, oh, we're going to put a pause on the phone or put a pause on the TV. Y'all go outside and do something. And initially it's like, oh, I want my phone. I'm so sick of this. Or when we're at school, like I want to be on my technology. But like once I'm like after like 20 minutes, I'll be good. And I'm just speaking for myself solely because like how my parents did it with how my parents introduced me to technology, that I'm able to take a break. Now, if you ask my dad, he's gonna say I'm addicted. That's him. But like genuinely, I feel like I'm able to just sit there and take a break because when I don't have my technology, I'm able to focus more. And like I've started, because I've been doing this for the past couple of years, but it's kind of intermittent to where I will take my phone and I'll like power it off and I'll put it away somewhere to where I'll just forget about it. Then I'll be able to do my work and then eventually come back to my phone a couple hours later and then be able to have my phone. But I definitely think that like not having your phone and like being able to take a breath away from technology is definitely a big help. And it's like it kind of like reels you back, and it is a sense of relief because it's like, okay, I'm getting more stuff done than I usually am. So it's like, okay, I'm doing better with my time.
Right. Like, I mean, that's kind of what I've read about other states that have had that as students. Some of them secretly or low key, like, you know,
they really enjoy it.
Yes, exactly.
But then they also really enjoy their phones.
Right,
so
too.
It's like, you know, it's going to be half and half.
Balance. Yes.
Now, At what age do you believe that a social media addiction is cultivated, or what age do you think it starts to like kind of grow? Now, me personally, I think it starts when you're like really young, or it really just depends on when your parents introduce you to technology, especially now, like with a lot of the adults that I've seen. A lot of adults introduce their kids to technology really early now in order to like keep them distracted or keep them busy instead of playing with their kids. Like my mom and dad used to have like little workbooks and stuff for us to do when we were younger, so we wouldn't be watching TV all day. And like we had like hand held items for us to like work with. Like we had abacus, we had the little time table things for people to read our time instead of just having to read it off the tablet screen or the microwave or our phones or whatever, you know?
So I 100% agree with you that it does depend on when parents introduce. I think when they first introduce technology, and then I think when they, like the ages when they allow them to, you know, maybe it starts with like letting them have access to like games like Minecraft and Roblox where they can play against, you know, people, or with people that are, you know, not there physically present with them. I think that's sort of a gateway to then, you know, like into like social media. And so I definitely think when parents introduce the technology and as they progress, that does impact. So I think younger and younger. So like maybe it used to be teenage years, you know.
And now the age is just kind of declining.
Yes, keep going back. Like when the more that they're allowed technology, and then the virtual stuff where they're, you know, you can play games with people, you know, not physically present with them. Then I think that's like a gateway. And that age is like decreasing, younger and younger kids.
And like you said, like with Roblox and stuff, like my little sister is 10, and so she's playing Roblox now. And when she first started playing it, I had never played it. I never played Roblox or Minecraft or none of that stuff. I just never liked it. I was never like that type of video game kid. That was never me. Like, I'm more of a Mario type of kid. That's what I liked. But so when she started playing that, I told my mom and dad, because I've been hearing about all these different things, and this was just me like just letting them know, be like, hey, you know, a lot of kids get talked to by adults on Minecraft and on Roblox, so you need to make sure you watch her. Or whenever she will play, I'd be like, hey, come in my room and you could play, but just let me sit there and play with somebody. And I was like, initially when she first started her account, I told her to give me her tablet so I could turn off all her chat notifications, so I could make sure she can't talk to anybody on there. And I felt like I was being paranoid at the time, but then a couple months later, that whole scandal came out about like all the kids that were getting that were all being talked to on Roblox, and that's why all these people that's why all these companies and stuff are suing Roblox now for letting these people talk to minors. And so I was like, okay, well then I'm not being paranoid, like, because I literally went in there and I turned off all her chat notifications. I made sure she wasn't able to talk to nobody, put the parental controls on my mom's phone and on the tablet, because I was like, I don't need you to be talking to anybody on there. You know? But I definitely think that it is younger and younger that their access to technology is happening, or their gateway to technology is occurring.
You definitely hear about the young kids, like with the tablets and at school, and if the teacher, you know, takes it away or whatever, like some kids having a meltdown,
which is crazy, because it's like, it's a tablet. It doesn't do anything. It's just a tablet. But that's what I'm saying. It's like the tablet, since the kids are being introduced to it so young, it's like the tablet, because that's what mainly kids have, a tablet, not phones. They have tablets. And so it's like they're just introduced to like just hits of dopamine, just dopamine rushes all the time. So it's like they're not able to like connect with each other. And it's like you wonder why your kid's so disassociated from like their peers, their teachers, just playing with other kids. You wonder why your kid can't tell time, or you know, you need to make sure you're giving your kids breaks and let them, not even breaks, you need to make sure that the technology is acting as the break. That's a
perfect way to put it.
The technology is I won't say, what's a good word? The technology is a treat. It's not a necessity. Your kid doesn't need to be watching Bluey all the time. Although Bluey is a good show. I'm not knocking Bluey, because I actually kind of like Bluey as a kid's show. They have cool lessons in there, but the technology is the treat. You should not have to be taking a break from technology.
And that's what it's become, though. It has become the thing.
It's flipped.
Yes, exactly.
But
that's a wonderful way to put it. Exactly.
So, and then What are some good ways that you would say that you can safeguard children online? Because like I said, I would block my sister's chat communications on Roblox. So do you have any examples like that? So what I was saying was, before the whole audio cut out, because the audio did cut out for a minute, we were talking about what are some good ways to safeguard your children from technology and online, and you said that having access to their accounts. And I was just going back and reiterating your statement that having access to your accounts is a good way to safeguard your children. Make sure you monitor what they're doing. You don't have to be like a spy and just spy on your kids, because that'll make your kid feel like you don't trust them to be responsible enough.
Right.
And that's how initially I felt when my mom asked me for my login. But then, like, I get mad. I get irritated with some stuff. And then a couple hours later, I'll be like, well, I guess she don't mean it like that. And I guess she's just wanting to make sure I'm okay.
Right.
And so like a couple hours later, I was like, okay, I understand where she's coming from. Because she was feeling the same way that I was feeling toward my little sister when it came to the Roblox thing. I wanted to make sure she wasn't doing anything she wasn't supposed to. And I even created a Roblox account to make sure I was watching her. So whenever she would play a game, I would play with her. And she only played for a little while. But I would play with her to make sure she wasn't doing anything she wasn't supposed to, or nobody was talking to her when they shouldn't be talking to her. If it'd be a stranger, I'd be like, oh, we're not going to respond to them. We're not going to talk to them. Like, I will play with her. So that's just what we were talking about before the audio cut out.
I think that's a good point that you make too, is like, so from the parent angle, watching, but also parents can like talk to their kids and teach them responsible online use, or what happens when a stranger reaches out to you, and you know what I mean, like, shutting it down or letting us know. But so I think it can work both ways too. Parents watching, but also teaching their children responsible use and what to do if they do find themselves in a situation that the child may feel is questionable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like you said, the parents talking to their kids, and I think that's when the parents should be able to tell their kids, like, hey, if you ever do end up talking to somebody, you just end up in a situation where you are speaking to somebody online, you need to come tell me, you need to come show me, and then we can talk about how to handle these interactions, or how to just avoid these interactions at all. Right. So you can stay feeling comfortable online, because who wants to feel uncomfortable when you're on your own phone? Right. So it's like those, even if it's not even like a bad interaction, it could just be like conversations between friends or stuff. That's how we're able to prevent like cyberbullying, stuff like that. Just being able to have clear communication with our parents and with each other, and just make sure we are being good online citizens. That's how I put it. Yes. Good online citizens. Just make sure we are taking care of all of our responsibilities when we're online, and just being good. We leave a good digital footprint. That's what I'm saying.
That's the perfect way to put it.
And then for my very last question, because this is the last question, and I'm gonna ask this question to my parent volunteer. Okay. Do you believe that parents are at fault for their children's growing interest in technology and social media? Me? Yes.
I too agree. I agree with you. And I too think that the brunt of the responsibility at the end of the day does fall on the parents. For several reasons. First off, they're likely the ones to introduce technology. So they've laid sort of the groundwork, the expectations that the child, eventually student, will have around that. And they're the parents. They have the ultimate control even over, to a degree, what teachers and schools do to and towards their children in this area. So again, I'm not saying totally lies on them or something happens at school that the school doesn't have, but by and large, the majority of it, from my perspective as a parent, as a teacher, is that it does fall, primarily on the parents, and primarily on them to, care for them, to look out, to have began the teaching process of responsible use. Like, yes, the brunt of that, in my opinion, falls on your parents.
I think it definitely does as well, because like my parents are 80s babies, so they were the ones who were growing up like when technology first started coming out. So my parents have always been weary of like the phones and stuff like that. My dad does not like using the phone. He does not like texting or calling and none of that, which is fine, because I mean, I understand. But like, I feel like a majority of children's interest in tech definitely does fall on the parents, because especially as kids are growing up now, like the people who have grown up with technology,
Yes, all the
like
moms,
all the 90s 2000s babies that are now adults,
right.
that have children of their own, think it's okay to just let their kids have free reign with technology and then wonder why their kids are getting in so much trouble with their technology.
This is a disconnect.
It is a disconnect, because it's like they don't see how their lax treatment towards technology lets their children be able to do whatever they want. And so in turn, the kids end up getting in trouble by being on the technology, and there's no repercussions.
Right.
So with the growing interest, we'll finish it out real quick. With the growing interest in technology, it is solely on the parents. And I think that the parents of today need to especially pay attention as their parents did to them when they were on technology. Because I know a lot of parents now think that their parents were hard on them, or were overbearing when it came to technology, where it's not like they were overbearing. It's just that they wanted to make sure you were safe online in an online landscape where they have never had to like access or monitor. So if they were being overbearing or precautious, that's just because they didn't know how to handle it or what to do. And so they took all the measures that they had to make sure that you were safe.
Correct. I agree. One thing I'll add too is about the different generations, like the Gen X parents versus say the millennial parents, which is that the Gen X parents, the internet that the millennial parents experienced as, probably older teenagers and, young people college age is not the same internet that their children have. And that made in their minds think, it didn't, cause me any harm. But like the Facebooks of yesteryear are not the TikToks or whatever of today. So, maybe at some point they would have to snap out of that, but that's a realization like, the internet of their, teenage years and college years
is not the same
as today that their children have.
But so that was our interview. Thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed having you.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed our conversation on a very, leading topic.
So that was the end of episode 1 of Growing Up Digital. Thank you again to Ms. WP, and I hope you guys have a great day.